Well, good morning once again, guys, on Saturday, April 18th, just here with the weekly update from the back porch, which includes barking dogs, lawnmowers, birds, and all the like with us here this morning. I hope that this finds you well once again on a beautiful day in the midst of all that we're going through. What a blessing to have had really, really amazing weather over the last month. Well, we made it through Easter last Sunday. Seemed like it was a good day for many. I thought our service was a real blessing and hopefully a good opportunity for you to celebrate the resurrection despite a full rainy day last week, which was challenging. Did a lot of reading last week in publications as just people reflected upon Easter, which was really encouraging in a lot of ways. One of the things that I read was from Tish Warren, who is the author of a book called The Liturgy of the Ordinary, that the women's RPI groups are doing. And I just wanted to read a couple excerpts from her article. And she wrote it just before Easter, a week ago today. And she's talking about as we approach Easter Sunday, not being able to meet in person. She said, "This feels incredibly unsatisfying. Sure, we'll live stream services, the word will be proclaimed, but it isn't the same. Something is clearly lost." And I know we all felt that to some degree. But then she goes on to say, "And yet the solid fact remains that Christians do not make Easter through our worship and our calendar. Jesus rose from the dead, and even if it were not acknowledged en masse, it would remain the fixed point which time itself turns. The truth of the resurrection is wild and free. It possesses us more than we could ever possess it, and rolls on happily with no need of us, never bending to our opinions of it. If the claims of Christianity are true, they are true with or without me. On any given day, my ardent belief or deep skepticism doesn't alter reality one hair." And then she goes on to finish by saying this, or later in the article, "I'm a Christian today, not because it answers all my questions about the world or about current suffering. It does not. And not because I think it's a nice, coherent moral order by which to live our lives. And not because I grew up this way or have fond feelings about felt boards and hymn sings. And not because it motivates justice or helps me to know how to vote. I am a Christian simply because I believe in the resurrection." Well, that's encouraging and also poignant to just center ourselves today and this week as we approach worship again tomorrow around the central truth of Christianity, which is the resurrection. We will continue to worship, obviously, online throughout the rest of this month. As things start to change, we'll keep you posted on the regulations that we and the guidance we receive from the government and from our local officials as it relates to May and the summer. Of course, we have thoughts on that. We're consulting and praying through that, and we'll keep you updated as things continue to progress. But throughout the month of April, we'll continue to worship online. As it relates to needs, we want to continue to communicate. If you have any, please communicate them to me specifically, Brent at resurrectionknoxville.com. Those needs will remain confidential. We do have a benevolent committee that helps be able to distribute some of those needs. We've had an encouraging number of people reach out willing to help people in specific ways, even like financially. And so Christian community is about depending on each other and helping each other. So please, even though I know it's not easy to ask for help, if you need help, email me, Brent at resurrectionknoxville.com. Or if you just simply want to talk or pray, reach out to me. I'd be happy to connect with you. We're continuing to be able to partner with and help Thrive Lonsdale and the families there. They continue to have needs. Visit our website for that under the COVID needs section of our website. Hopefully you parents and kids are participating in and accessing the new videos and lessons. I've heard great things from a number of families, most importantly kids, that they like the videos. And so we're happy to have those as are updated each week that can coincide with our worship. Hopefully you've been able to avail yourself and your children, more importantly, to those. Keep your ears and eyes open for what will happen in May as it relates to opportunities to connect. We're hoping that we can creatively find ways and safely find ways to be able to possibly connect in small groups in person just for some fellowship. So we're working on some things along with that. Zoom meetings continue with RPI And then we're trying to finalize a way to bring you the Hebrews small group discussion in an online format in the week, starting this coming week, and then do that for weeks to come. We're going to be using N.T. Wright's Hebrews Study Guide, which you can find on Amazon, and it would be best to just get the Kindle version of N.T. Wright Hebrews Study Guide is what we are going to use. Well, I want to close this morning, or before I do that, just obviously want to make sure you know once again that we're worshiping tomorrow. Encouraged with how much participation we've seen in that with regard to people tuning in. You can find the links as you have each week on our webpage, and then that'll connect you to our YouTube channel. But I want to pray this morning from Psalm 90, just thinking about these days, one running into another. And Psalm 90 talks about teaching us to number our days with wisdom. Annie Dillard, the great Pulitzer Prize winning nature writer, one time wrote, "How we spend our days is how we spend our lives," which is true and not always the most encouraging thing to think about. How we spend our days is how we spend our lives. But I want to encourage you to redeem the time these days, that we may apply our hearts to wisdom. So I'll close us this morning by reading from Psalm 90, just a few selected verses. "O Lord, you have been our dwelling place in all generations. Before the mountains were brought forth, or ever you have formed the earth and the world. From everlasting to everlasting you are God. You return man to dust and say, Return, O children of man. For 1,000 years in your sight are but as yesterday when it is past, or as a watch in the night. So teach us to number our days, that we may get a heart of wisdom. Return, O Lord, how long? Have pity on your servants. Satisfy us in the morning with your steadfast love, that we may rejoice and be glad all our days. Make us glad for as many days as you have afflicted us, and for as many years as we have seen evil. Let your work be shown to your servants, and your glorious power to their children. Let the favor of the Lord our God be upon us, and establish the work of our hands upon us. Yes, establish the work of our hands." Amen.